Hello, welcome to the Data channel, and you're watching Chat GPT for data professionals. And as part of the topic 3, so we'll be discussing one of the important topic in data science or data analytics when you're doing. So that is data preparation and cleaning using Chat GPT. So if you are familiar with data science, so you should be definitely heard about data preparation and data cleaning, which is a very crucial step because without a clean data, you cannot perform any analytics, any data science, or any AI ML use cases. So it is actually crucial to kind of once you get the data, you do a imputation of the data, and you kind of clean the data and prepare the data for the analytics. So there are several steps of doing this kind of preparation, and we will see how, as a data analyst or a data scientist, how can you automate this step and how can you make use of Chat GPT for the same. So before proceeding, if you are new to this channel, we would recommend you to please subscribe and also press bell button for instant notifications. So let's get started. So we are taking one of the data set called retails from the retail supermart from Kaggle. So here we take a data set which is of these are the columns you can see. So these are the columns you see from the retail data set like ship mode, segment, country, city, etc. etc. And we'll be downloading this, and you can also go ahead and download it for from Kaggle if you want to kind of practice along with me. And once you have downloaded this, we will come to the chat GPT. So where we are start asking the questions or start prompting the chat GPT for the required analysis or required data preparation and cleansing operation that we'll be doing, right? So now, once we switch to Chat GPT, the first line what we are mentioning here is we are setting the context here. So the context is so we are asking Chat GPT to perform a role of a senior data scientist, science professional, and with having the great expertise working in data science modules, tools, and techniques. So now it has understood the context. So you are giving the context and you are giving that role to Chat GPT. So in the previous video, we have seen what are the key prompt engineering concepts. So one of the key aspect is setting the context. So now the Chat GPT knows what to answer and from what perspective to answer, right? And now it says, so how can I assist you today with the data science needs, right? And then in the further we are prompting saying that we have a retail supermart data collections and what to derive and want to derive the meaningful insights from it. And we have given the required columns that are present. So in the data set, and also the important thing is here we have given the sample data set also, so that ChatGPT can understand some aspects of the how the data might look like. So we have given some 40 to 50 rows so that ChatGPT is able to understand how the data is looking actually, right? And then we ask, as part of this, we want you to help on steps required to prepare and to required to prepare and data cleaning. So we want to do a data preparation and data cleansing activity. So now these are the steps. So what are the steps? We are asking the steps to ChatGPT to perform the data cleansing and preparation. So it started with different steps here. So it is able to give the results of data collection, data inspection, handling missing values, data type conversion, removing duplicates, handling outliers, standardizing data. So you can see, right? So these are all the operations that you perform as a data scientist or data analyst to kind of prepare the data and cleanse the data before you actually perform the machine learning or apply the machine learning or AI ML use cases or perform the advanced analytics for the data. So ChatGPT is curating this particular data. Considering this data, it is able to curate and give the steps, exact steps to perform this. And it says that the data collection, as you can see, we will go one by one now. So we like ensure you have collected all the necessary data for your sample. It appears you already done this. The first step is data collection, and it understands we have already done this because we have given the sample data to it, right? And the next step is data inspection. So data inspection is nothing but you need to load the data and see how exactly it looks like. And it is using Python here. So if it is not giving Python code, if it is giving R or it is giving Excel kind of a steps, you can definitely prompt Chat GPT and ask to give the Python code. And So here I have the VS Code setup already done. So where it is already we have all the setup. You can use the Jupyter Notebook or VS Code. It's one and the same. So we are using a notebook here, IPYNB notebook. So and we start using those steps what ChatGPT is suggesting us, right? So first step is read the data. So we are reading the data here from the desktop. I have stored the file in the desktop, which is sample store.csv. So I will show how the data looks like. So this is how the data looks like, where the first column is first row is a set of columns like ship mode, segment, country, etc., etc. And you see the data. So there are around you can see approximately there is thousand almost thousand records. Okay, and coming back, you see we are able to read the data here, and let us kind of here, if you see, the first step is after data collection is data inspection. So you want to inspect the data, how exactly the data might look like. So it is giving the head, that means top five rows it is giving. You can even give tail to see the bottom five rows. So it is just a data inspection of how exactly, whether it is all the columns, rows are organized properly or if there is any issues, right? So this is the first step. And the second step is handling missing values. So in certain use cases, in certain data, especially when you are reading the data from IoT devices or something like capturing the temperature or some parameters from the machine. So what happens is there will be noise or there will be a missing data. In that case, you need to check if there is any missing values, right? So next step, we will see if there is any missing values. So this is a step where we are calling it as handling missing values. So if you see here, there is no missing values in this data set. So say for example, if there is a missing value for say category, so then you can like drop rows with a missing value. So you can consider that as a noise and you can drop it. So here, since there is no data quality issues, it is we are saying that, I mean, if you execute this, the next step where we are trying to remove the data, like where you are drop rows with the missing values, so right. So here there is no rows are dropped. Okay, and the next step is uh, where we want to do the actual conversion. So this next step is, if you see the data type conversion, so it has identified one of the column called postal code, which it is suggesting us to kind of convert that to a string data type, right? So that it can be it can be used in the analytics or data science use case. So that is why this step is called data type conversion. So here we convert this postal code into a string data type. So this is one of the step. Okay, and next step is remove duplicates. So before removing the duplicates, we need to see how many duplicates are there, right? So that is why we need to execute this and see there are 17 rows which are duplicated. Okay, and if you do a drop duplicates here, and then if you do a, let us see, try to give the count here. So count, it says 9977, right, after the drop operation. So previously, if you see, it was double 993. So if you make a tail or if you make a head, whatever. So if you are making tail, right, so you are able to see the last row, that is double nine triple nine three 99993. But after there are 17 duplicates dropped, so you are able to see 9977 as the number of rows. That means it has dropped the duplicates. Okay, it's one of the data cleansing process. Okay, and the next step is handling outliers. So there might be some outliers, right? Identify and handle the outliers, especially in the numerical columns like sales, quality, and discount. And so there might be some outliers, right? So it is able to identify one of the outlier here. Like if you see, especially for the sales, you can use the same for quantity and discount as well. It is suggesting. But if you see, this is again a analysis that you are want to do, right? And see how what exactly if there is any outliers, because outliers sometimes might be genuine outliers, or sometimes it might be a kind of a noise that is created in the data. So if you see here, what we are saying is for three of the records where it is seeing a lot of variation, the sales amount is actually, this is the outliers, but except that three, so everything is ranging from 0 to 10,000. So you can see these three, and maybe you can analyze and see whether it is a real true outlier or it is just a false positive. Okay, in the similar way, you can see quantity. So if there is any quantity outlier, that also you can see. So most of the quantities are from say 0 to 9, but there are few cases where the quantities is 10 to 14. This is still in the acceptable range, you can consider, right? But there might be case where the quantity suddenly spikes to 10,000 or 5,000, something like that. So then you can really need to take action whether to keep that in the as part of the analysis or not. Okay, so here, yeah, here we need to make sure that we are performing the data cleansing and data preparation. So we need to remove the data. Unwanted data should be removed. Otherwise, the whole intention of the intention might be taking into different directions, because if the data is having outliers or the noise, so it can lead to a wrong results when you're doing applying a machine learning algorithms, right? So the next step is like, so you can even see check the discount part. So if there is any irregular discounts that's been given, so it doesn't looks like any much irregular discounts. And you can even see the profit. So if there is any sudden spike in the or sudden drop in the profit, so only there are two to three cases where there is a um, difference or where there is outliers. You can go and evaluate. If it is a genuine case, you can remove those. Right, if you can keep it. If it is not a, if it is actually because of some noise, you can go ahead and remove that. So this step is again a crucial step where you're handling the outliers. Next is standardize the data. So standardized data is again for a numerical values. So where you are saying, so this is very important step, right? So you are using sklearn from scikit-learn. So where you are pre-processing the data here, right? So in this step, you are actually normalizing the numerical data. So once you see this code, so you are getting the SK learn module, and you are having a pre-processing here. So if you see here, from the pre-processing module, we are using standard scalar. So if you just see scalar dot fit transform, right? So it is taking these values and it is giving the results. Okay. So it is basically pre-processing the data here. And in the get dummies, so get dummies is again a step. It is adding the data which are, it is imputing the data actually. Like if let's try to execute this and see. So once it is done, we'll try to display the data, right? And you can see it has still not added any additional rows here. So we are expecting to add additional rows where we will see where we are adding the get dummies. So get dummies is nothing but it will take a values and it will add the, let us see this step. Once this step is executed, so we will display the result. As you can see, it has added a lot of columns here. Okay, now it is 617 columns. Basically, if you see before that, it was just how much when we are, it is just 13 columns. So, but now we are adding additional columns here. Okay, there are a lot of additional columns getting added, 600 plus getting columns getting added, so that we can, these are like mostly true and false. So this will be used in when you're performing, it is enriching the data to perform the next step of data science or applying the machine learning algorithms. So that is what, it's one of the key step, okay, to add this. Okay, so to this get dummies is one of the key step. in that. Okay. So the next step is once this is done of standardizing the data, so and encoding categorical value. So this is what we did, right? So we are adding the categorical value here. That means we are adding true or false. These are called categorical value. Okay. That means you are able to categorize it like 0 or 1 or true or false, okay, into a numerical form if required for data analysis and modeling. Further, it will be used. And so it uses one hot encoding or label encoding. Okay. And next step is feature engineering. So feature engineering is nothing but you're enhancing or enriching the data by adding a new column itself, which can be a certain KPI you want to introduce, a new KPI. So that step we are calling as a feature engineering. So here I'm introducing a new KPI, which is a profit margin. So you have a profit, you have a sales, but I'm now deriving the profit margin from these two values. So which can be considered as one of the KPI, and this is the what we're calling as a feature engineering. So you can think of what are the KPIs. So this is suggesting one KPI here. So if you use different data sets, it can suggest different KPIs for that particular data sets as applicable. Okay. So the next step is data splitting. So data splitting is again optional one. So where you want to this is like a tuple, right? So where it is getting the train data, it is giving two results. So one result is getting in stored in train, other result is getting stored in test. So you are testing, you are planning to build a predictive models, so then split the data into training and test data set. So it is splitting the data as a trained data set and test data set, two ways. And you can use the test data set and train data set for further steps. So that depends. Okay. And the next step is save cleaned data. So the final step, right? So once you kind of split this data and this data can be used in further steps. So the final step is where you kind of you can display this data, right? So you see there are a lot of columns getting added and all those things. Okay, but a few columns are being reduced, rows are being reduced, and additional columns have been added because of we remember like we have removed the duplicates, but we have added many columns as part of the adding the categorical value for analysis, right? So finally, once we complete all the steps, so we want to write it to a final location. Okay, where we call it as a sample stored clean data.csv. Okay, so now you can see there is a clean data set. So I'll be opening that in like say Notepad++, and you are able to see the clean data set here. So with all the inputted values, you can see these are the actual columns, but there is a lot of data inputted like inputted columns where you are adding a categorical values. Okay, so that's kind of a the data is prepared for the further analysis steps. Okay, so with that, as you can see, we have seen the steps from the Chat GPT. So this everything is suggested by Chat GPT. We used Python and Panda libraries combination and scikit-learn library here. So it is able to produce these steps and give the relevant code also like data collection, data inspection, handling missing values, data conversion, type conversion, remove duplicate values, handling the outliers, encoding categorical variables, feature engineering, data splitting, and also finally saving the data into the new location that you provide. So this is how the entire data preparation and cleansing happening using ChatGPT. So we have demonstrated that with a live example. So you can try with a different data set, and ChatGPT will provide the appropriate categorical values based on certain KPIs, right? So hope this was kind of a useful, and you can start practicing this like using Chat GPT and like Python and Pandas libraries with all the machine learning libraries. So hope this was useful. Thanks for watching.